Okay, so we're going to turn to the New Testament now. New Testament. We're going to be in two different Gospels the next 2 days, and then we'll end with an epistle. And this one, Matthew chapter 15, verse 10 through 20, this theme of the people of God hoping for something that isn't best for them, that God has different hopes for them that actually will prosper them. Boy, I could have picked so many different gospel texts for this theme. I mean, constantly. The Pharisees are like, no, this is the way we have to do it. And Jesus is like, but it's not actually serving people. Why would you do it that way? No, God works this way, which I'm sure Jesus just like, LOL, look at me. Right? Constantly there's these showdowns between the Pharisees and the Sadducees and Jesus. Even Jesus' own disciples, as we heard with the gospel on Sunday with Peter, right? No, Jesus, it's got to be this way. I imagine Simon the Zealot, right, who's focused on political liberation from Rome and this idea that's what Messiah should be. I wonder how Simon took those stories like give to Caesar what is Caesar. You know, we don't get those, but I'm sure he was like, what? We're going to overthrow Rome, right, Jesus? That's what you're here for. Again, the hopes that we have aren't necessarily the hopes of that are what God wants, what actually help more people, right? Imagine if the Pharisees got their way. Imagine if Simon the Zealot got his way. Imagine if Peter got his way. We would be without the cross and Easter morning, without resurrection, without life eternal. So thank God that God's in charge, right? Anyway, but I picked Matthew 15, 10 through 20, as a good sample of a lot of these showdowns. This is the Jesus teaching in the synagogue, and the religious teachers are saying, hey, you know, we saw your disciples have been eating non-kosher. They haven't been ritually washing their hands the correct way, which, in COVID, please wash your hands. Anyway, but there's a special ritual they're supposed to do before eating. This is Jesus' disciples have been doing these things, therefore they claim it is undermining all his teaching because he's not sticking to what matters, right? This is, again, emblematic of the showdown because it's stuck on the law. Not the spirit of the law, but the letter of the law. That what we must do must be done exactly to this point. God doesn't work that way. Every time humanity's like, no, God, you must do it this way, God's like, nope, doing something else, doing something new. God works in so many different ways. And it's the church, we should celebrate this. We shouldn't be like, we must go this way, this is what our church looks like. Rather, if we do something different, if we have ministers who are doing something crazy that's out there, but it's reaching people, we should support that. That's great. God works in so many ways. And so this is that showdown here then. Oh, you're not following the kosher law, right? Jesus' response, okay? Jesus' response is in, well, he starts it in 13, but what we want to talk about today, verse 17. Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth enters the stomach and then out into the sewer? But what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and that is what defiles. For out of the heart come evil intentions, murder, adultery, fornication, theft, false witness, and slander. These are what defile a person. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile. Right? So Jesus is saying, you know what? You're right, we're not following the hand-washing guidelines. We're not following these kosher regulations. But what matters more? This rote, ritualistic understanding of law that we must do A, B, and C in that order, or the spirit of the law, the heart of ourselves and what God is after. That law is there to guide us, not to be something that holds us back from loving God and loving neighbor, right? You shouldn't eat with sinners either, according to the same laws. Obviously, Jesus breaks that one too, right? It's what comes out of the mouth, Jesus says. He's being kind of punny here. Not what goes in, but what comes out of the mouth that has potential to do more harm or good. And so, sometimes I think we can, how this connects to our theme of perhaps false hopes, what our hopes for how God should be, what God should look like, how God should be acting, what the church should do, what our lives should look like, the process of how things work, right? It has to be this way. That rigidness is a false hope. Sometimes we need to be open to the spontaneity of God. I know as a type A person myself, that's like, but God's beyond that, right? We have to be open to what's at the heart of the law. To open to that what God has dreamed for us might be beyond what we currently understand. And thanks be to God. That's how innovation happens. It's good for the church. It's good for our lives. I know Lutherans shudder at this suggestion, but maybe you could try something new. Change and stuff too. All right, enough of this one. We've talked plenty. Our coffee is thoroughly consumed at this point. Have a good morning, and I will be back with you tomorrow as we continue discerning, looking at passages where the people of God get a little astray, but God helps them correct too.